that we are looking at when we want to do border molding, maxillary or mandibular. We need a spirit lamp for heating the low fusing compound, that's a green stick. Then we need a bowl of hot water, that is to temper the green stick upon application onto the tray borders, so that the temperature of the green stick when introduced into the mouth is optimum in such a way that the patient is not patient's tissues are not burnt. And of course we need another bowl of cold water for us to chill the uh, green stick once we are satisfied with the borders that we have achieved, and also to leave the heated green stick in water so that it doesn't stick to the surrounding areas and the Macintosh sheet. So the arrangement is also, it is very important that the spirit lamp is kept farthest away so that you don't burn your hands trying to, in case the spirit lamp is kept somewhere here and you heat the green stick and then you want to dip the special tray onto the water, then you have to run your hand over the spirit lamp and you might always cause injury to yourself. So ideally this should be the arrangement. This is a very important tool for us, a BP blade, a BP knife, so that we can easily cut off the excess without heating the instrument. There has been a popular way of doing it is to heat the Lecron's carver and then try to cut off the excess. So what happens when we heat and cut off the excess is it leaves edges on the green stick, and when we reintroduce the tray back in the patient's mouth, these edges could hurt the patient. So it is always better to cut the excess with a sharp instrument like a BP blade. The retromolar pad, that should be the posterior extension of our dentures. That means your dentures should be fully covering the retromolar pad. So we need to record the same in the secondary impression. So we need to sight the retromolar pad and just make sure that we record the posterior margin of the retromolar pad. And clearly we can make out that this is the distal end of the retromolar pad, and you don't want your denture to go beyond that. So naturally we would want to extend our special tray also till there. If any overextension, we would like to trim it off. So as you can see here, the special tray is extending way beyond that. So we would want to trim it right up to the distal end of the retromolar pad. And you have designed your stops well, and the stops are encircling the ridge. It is better that we remove the wax spacer because of the well-formed stops, you will be able to reorient the tray back into the patient's mouth or on the ridge in the same position as we desire. So you don't need wax to be there, the wax spacer is to be there. If you can always remove the wax spacer and then start with your border molding. So once the wax spacer is removed, you would want to check for extension of the tray. The first thing that we check is the extension of the tray, the posterior limit. As already mentioned, the posterior extension of the mandibular tray should be such that it covers the retromolar pad, and we wouldn't want to go beyond the retromolar pad also, because during the mouth opening, the pterygomandibular raphe which attaches distal to the retromolar pad gets accentuated, and if your denture is extending beyond the retromolar pad, because of the raphe, the dentures could get lifted. So we need to accurately find out where exactly the retromolar pad ends and cover the denture till there, or extend the denture till there. Once you are assured of the posterior extension, then we need to check for extension on the buccal and the lingual aspect. One thing we need to realize is that we are doing border molding. So border molding is about recording the depth as well as the width of the sulcus. So you don't want your special tray to be touching the sulcus or beyond the sulcus during the functional movement. So that would leave with no space for you to introduce a material, a plastic material like green stick to do its job in the sulcus. So you need to have your special tray short of the sulcus so that you have enough space for you to introduce green stick material. So this is the way you need to check. See, the bottom molding movement is outward, upward and inward, and at that time you need to have some kind of a space for you to introduce the material green stick like that. So as you can see, there is as of now the sulcus is in contact with the special tray. Loose birdlema, tight malputse, koi parabodiyal. Loose birdle everywhere. Why manchotchi? So as you can see, almost everywhere the special tray is in contact with the sulcus. Also, once you are happy with the extension on the buccal side, then we need to check for extension on the lingual side. So we'll be checking the extension post the trimming. So once the trimming is done, we need to see, okay, there is a visible space for us to introduce the green stick. A visible space there also. As we come anteriorly, yes. Go towards the third quadrant, yes. And everywhere you have sufficient space to introduce a green stick. So once the buccal extension is satisfactory, then we go and check the lingual extension. So lingual extension checking visually may be difficult because we need to ask the patient to do the tongue movement, and once the tongue is moved anteriorly or laterally, we will not be able to see the tray borders. So we will be checking it functionally using the lifting of the tray as a parameter for us to see whether the tray is overextended or not. And definitely under extension is something which we will not be able to assess. So only overextension can be assessed by the lifting of the tray. So as the patient thrusts the tongue forward, in case you feel the tray is lifting from the posterior aspect like this, then we need to understand that there is an overextendment in this area. As you can see here, so this is the position of the tongue, the floor of the mouth, which is raised when the patient moves the tongue forward. So you need to adjust the tray border in this area from here to here, maybe from canine to canine on the lingual aspect. Now to check the alveolingual sulcus, we need to ask the patient to move the tongue to the contralateral side. Inchi malpile, nalai, anchi, nalai, anchi, anchi malpile. Ittare anchi malporti, nalai matra, anchi malpile. So when the patient does that, as you can see here, nalai anchi malpile ma. As you can see here, the slight lifting. Nalai inchi malpile. On that side, there is not much of this thing. So what we can understand from this is that there could be an overextended alveolingual sulcus in this. You can see here nalai anchi malpile. So when the patient moves the tongue to the contralateral side, the floor of the mouth on this side lifts up. Nalai inchi malpile ma inchi. When the patient moves to this side, the floor of the mouth on this side lifts up. So when this happens, you know that the tray is overextended in this side. So maybe the tray is slightly overextended here. We will trim it and we will recheck whether it lifts. So we ask the patient to thrust the tongue into the other side, and the tray is quite stable now. So we will go ahead and start with the bottom molding. Okay. The low fusing compound can be heated directly over flame, and if you want uniform heating, you should always rotate the green stick, and as you can see here, you can soften the green stick, collect some good quantity of green stick, want it to be watery. Too much of flow is also not desirable. We just require the right amount of flow. So this process can start from anywhere. I would prefer to start from the alveolingual sulcus and drag it to the buccal sulcus on one side. This is my preferred area. So the green stick goes into the ball, and then we're just tempering it. It's tempered. Rotated into the ball position. Ideally, you don't want the green stick to touch here and there. In case it is touched, you can always readapt the green stick in the mouth, and then outward, upward, inward, outward, upward, inward. Now like it full, eight upon anchi malpu, anchi nalla. So as you have introduced the green stick on the right side of the patient's alveolingual sulcus, you want to ask the patient to move the tongue to the contralateral side, that's to the left side. So that is to record on the contralateral side. Lingual boxers recorded with green stick, both the width as well as this thing. As you can see, there is not too much width there. That shows that there is not much of space there, and we can see the reverse S shape of the alveolingual sulcus. Okay, on the buccal aspect, we would like to accentuate the mesenteric notch, which we have not done. We will do it now. We'll remold, reflame, and then redo the buccal aspect so that we get the mesenteric notch and the molding of the buccal sulcus once again. Just reflame it. Rotate the position. And then again mold it. Why muchlemma? Why muchle? Why muchle? Muchle. So the mesenteric notch can be recorded by asking the patient to close the mouth against with you resisting the closure. So that is when the masseter in this area would get accentuated, and then that would trim the green stick in that area for us and record it. From the buccal side, going around the retromolar pad on the alveolingual sulcus, lingual sulcus, and preferably join the green stick on the alveolingual sulcus of the contralateral side. Once you're done, you can temper it. Now we need to take the reverse path. Loose pudle. And then introduce in the mouth. Full. We have achieved in this patient. You can see that it's not well rounded. Most part of the borders are quite knife edged, and that's the width of the sulcus she has. We don't have a wide sulcus in her mouth. So we'll just make the impression. of the tray. Just keep it pressed for some time and for the excess material to flow out. When I'm making the mandibular impression, there is no necessity of any holes to be made, any relief holes to be made. So it's mandibular bottom molded special tray is not a sealed atmosphere like the maxillary. So there's enough space for the excess material to flow out from both the buccal side as well as the lingual side. Don't try to do the bottom molding when the zinc oxide is in a very flowable state. So just hold the tray in position and wait for the zinc oxidation oil to become slightly viscous. So once you're happy, you can do the molding. Full. ನಾಳೆ ಬ್ಯಾಡ್ ಎದುರು ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂಚೆ ನಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಎದುರಿದೆ ಇದು ಅಂಚು ಮಲ್ಪೆ ನಾಳೆ ನನ್ನಲ್ಲ ನನ್ನಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಎದುರಿದೆ ಇದು ನಾಳೆ ಇಂಚಿ ಮಲ್ಪೆ ಇಂಚಿ ಇಂಚಿ ಹೆಂಗ ಸರಿ ನನ್ನಲ್ಲ ನಾಳೆ ನಿತ್ತು ಮಲ್ಪೆ ನಾಳೆ ನಿತ್ತು ಮಲ್ಪೆ ನಾಳೆ ನಿತ್ತು ಮಲ್ಪೆ ಲೂಸ್ಬಿಡ್ಲಿ molding. Dulu apa namanya cari cari waktu terus apa ikut sih kenapa ya teman teman kita pernah sering pernah teman Allah cuma dia time muncul So you can see the 4 stops exposed, all the borders recorded beautifully. You can see the retromolar pad well recorded on both sides, and whatever the excess that is gone beyond the retromolar pad can be knocked out using a sharp blade. Even the excess below the sulcus here can be knocked off. So this. Once the impression is out, you need to wash it. Once more. self-cut impression, then do beading, boxing, and then we need to force a cast. What we achieve is the secondary cast.